police, to confuse society? Why? We shouldn't be fighting each other. We should be united as one to fight against the oppressors. We know our worth. We know we're strong. So stand together.
A lot of people think youth are the leaders of tomorrow. They're actually the leaders of today. They have the agency, they have the knowledge, they have the thirst and the passion to really create community change that works for them today and that will serve future generations.
Ain't no power like the power of the youth, and the power of the youth don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the youth, and the power of the youth don't stop.
In Aypal, our phrase is no history, no self. And it works for both ways. Like you don't know your history, so you don't know yourself. So the first step into learning more about yourself and your culture is to learn about the history that comes with it.
Aypal was founded in a time when there wasn't any organization serving the API community in Oakland, a time of a lot of racialized violence, lack of resources, and lack of services for API youth.
We have stories about pain, struggles, and violence that are listened to when they should be because they matter.
The three principles that we have in Aypal are our youth and adult partnership, working kind of alongside each other, promoting social justice, making sure that anything that we do, it's for the liberation of everyone. And then community empowerment. So making sure that anything that we do has a broad impact on the communities that we serve.
I definitely feel a lot more connection to Asian Americans and just being Asian in general. It's a cliche saying that you're not alone in this, and of course I know I'm not the only Asian American, but it's a totally different feeling. You could actually read that your feelings are valid, how intergenerational trauma is a real thing.
We're giving our students a sense of self, a sense of power, a sense of understanding of their cultural history, providing workshops in Khmer history, Chinese history, Vietnamese history, Filipinx history, and it's really centered around organizing and how folks have been empowered in their community.
Sucks that I gotta do research outside of school about my culture to learn and understand what makes me.
At our core, we're a political leadership development organization, so a lot of the work that we're doing is really providing an alternative to the model of school.
I basically grew up in Aypal. The 4 most important years of my life in high school, I spent in Aypal. So they really helped me with skills such as public speaking, voicing my opinion, and becoming a stronger leader and being the person I am today.
Yeah, I just knew I was a minority, but I didn't know how I was put down because of that. Aypal really opened my eyes to what little nuanced things go on behind the scenes of big institutions. And not only Aypal was educating the youth on current events, but they were also teaching us how to change it for ourselves and how to do it in Oakland as a high schooler.
So you see this construction happening in the corner over there? That used to be a school. They're rebuilding it into an overpriced housing unit that we can't afford.
The main issue that API youth face in Oakland would be gentrification, and we talk about that a lot in Aypal. A lot of API folks in the Bay Area not being able to afford rent or the area that they're living in due to gentrification. And a lot of us start to work at a young age because we have to help pay rent for our parents. And if that doesn't work out, we have to move to a different city and move to different houses or live with different relatives. It's a big issue that we all face over here. There's a whole bunch of properties in Chinatown where they have the opportunity to create low-income housing for those in need or for those in the area, but they've chosen to create expensive housing for people that aren't from here. And so it's just a reminder that they would rather have other people with bigger wallets here rather than the people that are actually from here.
People are moving in and not caring about the culture, so we stand here today protecting our resources for people of color, especially immigrant families.
Our young folks were actually able to stop the building of the A Stadium at Laney College, which was a huge win for them.
I hear the youth like me
making a change with their voice. I see a lot of hard work to build understanding between you and me. Hey, woo! They say development. We see displacement.
They're trying to push us out, but we still shout. We have no fear. We still here. We have no fear.
We still here.
We've really been focused on API visibility, so making sure that particularly our Southeast Asian students are really seen when it comes to data collection.
When you're filling out forms for schools, one of our things we were fighting for were not only can you check off Asian or other, and there are Pacific Islanders that feel like they're not in the Asian category. So to just like be able to just be recognized, not to be phased out in the background, and to be counted as something you're not.
As API people, we aren't seen, we aren't heard. People think we're high achieving and we got bank. We come to America, to the Bay, to Oakland, to get away from the struggle, but we're still struggling.
4 years ago in Aypal, I began as a Y-Lo, like the letter Y-L-O. After my freshman year, I became an intern for about 2 years. And during my second to last year, I became a youth campaign organizer, would just like campaign organize and would talk at different events. And I would get interviewed like what we're doing now. And I got the opportunity to meet different organizations that did the same thing as Aypal did in Philadelphia.
So I was an intern for 2 years. Senior year, I became a YCO. And not only was I still like facilitating workshops with my sites and just inviting youth to the space, but I was also talking to interns and being that like bridge between the staff and the interns, which I believe it wasn't really that big of a bridge. The staffs are so kind and relatable to the youths. I got to know more about taking responsibilities, like making key decisions in May Arts, like whether we should hold it at Lincoln or if we should hold it at AYSC. Just those not little decisions, those like kind of executive, you know, those executive decisions that makes me feel that I can still really make a big impact.
All right, so welcome everyone to Aypal's 21st Annual May Arts Festival. Rooted in Unity, our theme is guided by our youth working with other organizations this year during the teacher strike.
The May Arts Festival at its core is a tool for us to connect our young folks to their culture through art. And our understanding of that is, you know, art is healing, art is connection.
We have a lot of different performances that come from different cultures. We also have spoken word pieces and little skits throughout the show to promote Asian culture in Oakland. And it's a great way to hang out with your friends, explore different cultures, and eat good food.
The first objective was to reclaim Lincoln and reclaim a lot of Chinatown. If you look around Chinatown, there's a lot of construction from gentrification. And to hold May Arts as a big event that a lot of people know in Chinatown, it's showing that there are people here that live their lives, that have their own culture, and they cannot be replaced.
So this weekend is our statement to the city that we are still here, continuing to fight for Oakland and its people who have really defined the place and culture of Oakland. Let us continue to struggle together to keep Oakland, Oakland.
The arts, their job is to rile up the crowd, you know, to show that we really mean what we say. And usually there's like hundreds of people there. So it's really nice for people to become aware of like our struggles.
As well as like, it's a great way for our young folks to get some shine. At our age, at any age, we just kind of want to be seen.
I be rocking it like it's fresh out the pan. Only when I'm taking pics, I'm a little man.
for a lot of our young folks, this is the first time that their parents will see them doing something that they're like, wow, that's part of who we are, and you think this is cool, right? So it is an attempt at kind of healing intergenerational trauma.
I joined Aypal as like a really shy person, and still I like came out with a lot of friends. Making friends is a real thing that you want to do. It doesn't have to be about fighting the system. It could be just simply about making friends, and that's a real thing that Aypal gives to youths. It gives real friendships.
I learned from other youth leaders in Aypal, those that were older than me. They inspired me so much to have the knowledge that they have and the power that they held when they walk across the room. Everyone would know who they are and what they've done for the community. And it just inspired me a lot to become like them.
Mama, I made it in America. Thank you so much, Aypal.